É o seguinte, gente. Quero agradecer a presença de geral. Mandar um axé. Mandar um axé pra quem é carioca, pra quem é brasileiro, pra quem tá com dinheiro, pra quem já beijou na boca, pra quem quer beijar. Pra quem é
So, hey, Karol.
vascaíno, pra quem é tricolor, botafoguense, flamenguense.
Welcome.
Pra quem já beijou.
I don't know.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Better.
Better.
Better, yes.
Better from what?
Better from last weekend.
Okay. What did you do last weekend?
Actually, let's say that I was hanging out with some friends that are very interesting, and they gave me some perspective about a dating situationship I had
Before?
Before, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right then. So why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit?
okay. So, well, my name is Karol, Karol Valencia, Jaén. So this is very funny because depending on which country I am, people can call me Karol or Carol or Carolina or, yeah, just whatever. Actually, one friend of mine that is from Argentina, she always calls me Carolina, and I hate that. But yeah, probably
Carolina.
Yeah, I don't know, like, why? But anyways.
Okay.
And then, but usually my nickname is, well,
K.
K
Basically, yeah.
or Carito or Karol G, like the singer, like the Colombian singer. But my friends play around with Karol B.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, one Turkish friend I have that is hosting a podcast decided that I'm gonna be Pikachu. I don't know. You tell me about it. That nickname you choose. Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason I told you Pikachu once, but I don't know why really. Just,
Yeah.
popped up out of nowhere. Okay, so you're now living in Amsterdam, and tell us about yourself a little bit. Like, how did you end up in Amsterdam?
Yeah.
What did you do before?
It's quite interesting story, by the way, because I am originally from Peru. I am proudly Latina. I am proud of my Peruvian roots. But let's say that also from my that side of the family, there were a lot of American influence. And in my house, you can always listen Spanish and English all the time. That's why at some point during school, I really have to stop to start skipping English lessons, and instead of that, doing something else. For instance, French lessons or whatever else, because I was getting so bored of attending English lessons at some point, and then eventually.
Oh, you didn't like English lessons that much?
No, I did, but the problem is that I was already having good English level.
Oh,
at
yeah.
home. So then it was like,
Yeah, you didn't need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically was the reason. And then eventually, because of this connection with the U.S., I have like the opportunity to travel a lot to visit my family there, an uncle and some cousins. And then eventually I also have this teenager experience to go there and have the prom with all the circumstances that as you can watch in the American movies.
Yeah.
It was very funny moments. And then eventually when I finished law school in Peru, I was living in Lima, which is a beautiful city.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, very dangerous though nowadays. But it's in front of the Pacific Ocean, and I really love it. I am from a very small city that is called Arequipa in Peru, but when you finish law school, you most of the times go to the capital city, which is Lima, to do your master or to do an specialization or whatever. So I ended there, and then eventually my uncle called me from New York, and he told me, if you want to come here to give it a try, to whatever you want to do, you can come. And I met in the middle. I met someone who broke my heart. I was very in love with that person. He was my first true love, let's say it like that. And then after that unsuccessful trial, then I decided to go to New York. I was literally crying the 7-hour flight. I remember drinking a lot of wine. It was so funny. Yeah, but the flight attendants were very supportive.
You cried 7 hours straight.
Yeah. I mean, I had the ring.
That must be a record. I mean, how could 7 hours straight?
Yeah, I didn't have too many things to do. I couldn't sleep. I was very disappointed. I remember that when my uncle picked me up from the airport.
You're still crying, and like he's like,
Yeah, but he thought that I was crying because I was excited. And then I told him,
oh,
and he said, here you are gonna meet a lot of NBA players or like lawyers or other people. Yeah, because I remember that at that moment, this Suits series was also on the stage. Remember that?
Who?
Have you seen Suits,
Yeah,
the lawyer series on
yeah.
Netflix? Yeah. So that was on trend, and then he was making jokes about, yeah, you will meet some Suits lawyers and
Yeah.
such. Yeah, so they were like, okay, you're gonna meet your Harvey Specter, yeah, something like that. So it didn't happen, but let's say that I have a cool moment in US. I mean, living in New York, it's amazing. It's an amazing city. I really enjoy taking the ferries and such. But the problem is that can be so overwhelming at some point. So after, let's say, 2 months, I was starting to feel that it was too much. Even for me, that you know me, I am very energetic.
Yeah.
It was too much. So imagine how it can be for someone that is not as energetic as I am. And then eventually, there were some financial crises in the family there. So then I decided that maybe there is a time for me to do something else. And I was already working on the legal tech sector. When we go to the professional field, I will explain more about what I do.
Yeah.
But then I found an opportunity to go and join a fintech company and regtech company in Spain. I met my future boss back then in a fair in a legal tech fair in New York, and then he told me in an event in a conference, and he said, if you want to join us, we are looking someone that can transfer these AI policies, regulation that are very complex and such into what we are doing with the product. So it could be like a legal product manager, something like that understands technology, but also at the same time understands regulation.
Yeah.
It's very related to compliance. And I say, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And then let's say that it
Yeah,
was
that
the
sounds
timing.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the perfect timing. So then I took the opportunity. They arranged everything. I remember it was October 9 of 2019, I guess, or 2018. But yeah, let's say that I travel, then I accommodate myself in Madrid, so far from home, from my second home.
Yeah.
And then also I don't have any relatives, like close relatives in Europe, like zero.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's safe now to say that. But yeah, let's say that I'm really alone.
Yeah.
So, and of course, nowadays I have friends.
Yeah, that's how you become an immigrant. Of course, you're alone. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I mean, like I actually have a lot of problems in the past because of being alone, and nobody tells you like how do you have to do the things and such. But then, in any case, yeah, I manage. I survive. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Think I'm doing better every day. But yeah, in any case, that's how I ended in Madrid. And I actually fall in love with Madrid very, very fast. I mean, it was not hard to fall in love with Madrid because, unfortunately, it doesn't have an ocean. You cannot go to the sea directly. Well, like, for instance, I was living in New York or in Lima. You have the Pacific Ocean or the Atlantic Ocean just in front of you. But yeah, in Madrid, I'm always missing that. But still, I managed to fall in love with the city because people in Madrid are kind of unique. They are very open-minded, friendly, which is different of becoming your friends. And I'm gonna explain that part later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely very open and such. Also not running all the time. Like for instance, it was people were very friendly as well in New York, but sometimes they were always running to do things, so they couldn't spend too much into a conversation or into doing some other activities. So yeah, and the thing is like. I fall in love with Madrid, and I was very determined. Let's say that I started living with some friends that I met on a supermarket in Lima when I was still living in Peru. And my dad, he's always my guardian angel. He listened to that Spanish couple talking with a Spanish accent in that supermarket line. And then that's how we connected. we were buying food to eat, and then they were also buying food, and they didn't have a table to sit. So they asked us, can we sit
Can we
with
join?
you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we said, yeah, sure. And that's how we met. But he already listened to them. And then we became friends. And that was back then on 2016, I guess. We continued the conversation. I think that WhatsApp was already existing, or I don't remember how we continued the conversation. But then I just reached out to them, and they were very nice because Maria and Miguel, those are their names. They even went to pick me up from the airport.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, with these cartels and a little. So it was very nice.
Are very friendly.
Yeah, they were very friendly. They are quite old right now, but they are very, very nice. So I stayed with them for a couple of weeks. They actually told me that I can stay with them for 1 month, but I don't want to bother
You
that
don't want to
much.
force it anymore.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
And then since I already have this kind of job offer, then yeah, I remember that I have the worst horrible jet lag of my life. Like I arrived on a Friday morning, and I slept Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I think I woke up on
And
Monday.
Monday,
Yeah.
you would say, like, you slept 4 days.
Yeah, almost like that, or 3 days at least. And
Without-
just go directly to have the coffee with the one that was gonna be my boss. And then he told me that was kind of a first coffee, but also like first and only interview. So if I screwed up, then I screwed up, and I did all the effort for nothing. Or if I nail it, then it was good. So then we have this conversation. I did it good, I think, because he offered the contract and such.
To be honest with you, I'm still thinking about how did you sleep 3 days and then you met your boss after that. Like,
Yeah,
without-
those things happen.
Yeah, okay. So just,
Yeah, and then
still thinking about it. Yeah.
yeah, no, but the thing is like, I started to work, and I also managed to start like kind of re-study the Spanish law degree to be able to have like the European degree in law. And to be honest, I didn't continue because at some point I realized that I was studying the career not in the best university for that purpose.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the name of the university because, it would be funny to say it if it's in Spanish, but because there's even a joke about that. But in any case, in order to not to compromise any brand, I won't say the name.
Okay.
Yeah, but let's say that, at the end also because of my job was more related to technology and regulation, I was thinking to myself, maybe it doesn't make too much sense to study like 3 more years of law since I already know like the things that I should know. And I can always do a short course to specialize more in regulation related to technology and such, and then study more technology aside. And I decided to also start a master on UX design. So I quit the law degree. I stopped it, not quit it, because, for instance, that means that if I decide to go back to law school in that university or whatever university, I still have my certificate, and then I can just continue from the moment that I stop. So that's good. Probably I will in the future, but not sure yet. But then instead of that, I studied a master on UX design, and then I also did a full a boot camp on full stack programming, coding.
Okay.
Yeah, so then in order to have like a better technique background, and they decided to promote me in the job.
Oh.
And I was making good money now. I mean, for being alone.
Congratulations, Karol.
Yeah. I was like, yes, I did it. But then, of course, I didn't know how to manage with the taxes. I didn't know that I have to figure out a lot of things. So I got a fine from the tax authority that I finished to pay like very recently, by the way. But any case,
But just a second. You were still in Madrid, or did you move to Amsterdam?
No. I was still in Madrid.
You're still in Madrid. Okay.
Yeah, and then using Bumble, that's how I met someone that became my friend. We have never like had any proper date with him.
Yeah.
We just became friends, and when I came here, we just didn't have the connection. We just became friends. Nothing happened, and he told me, if you want, because you speak good English and you are also doing a lot of interesting stuff, maybe you can give it a try here in Amsterdam. I'm also making good money, blah, blah, blah. And then he is the one that kind of convinced me to come here. And then the COVID started.
Oh, you decided to move from Madrid to Amsterdam
Yeah.
before COVID,
Before COVID.
just and because one of your friends invited you here.
Yeah, yeah.
And you want to give your chance without finding a job or anything like that.
Yeah, because I was still having my job remotely.
Oh, okay.
So
So you
then-
said maybe I can do my job remotely from Amsterdam.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's what I did. And then let's say that COVID helped me in that sense because I can still give it a try here, search for opportunities, but I still have like the security to have my Spanish
Yeah.
job in order to collaborate with the pills, right?
Yeah.
And then, to be able to have money and such. And it was nice. Unfortunately, it was the beginning of COVID, was everything very blur. I
Yeah.
also spent the first 2 months of the COVID season in Madrid, which was very hard because we can hardly go out. But then, for instance, being able to make also money from here, combining with the job that I have there, allows me to finally find my dream place to live in Madrid, but also have the opportunity to live in Amsterdam too. Then I also was like renting a room here, not a flat. Because you cannot have flat in two places, right? So what I was doing, I was renting a room here, and then I was having a flat in Madrid. So
Okay.
so I can always escape, and everyone tells me you have the best of two worlds, right? Because the weather in Madrid is always sunny. In Amsterdam, not always. But
Not
well,
always.
right now, yes, but not all the time. And then that's what I was doing. I was like, when it was too rainy here, then I fly to Madrid, and then eventually, again in Bumble, I already moved from my friend's apartment to my own place here. Eventually, one day when I was on the tram sitting on Bumble, I met the one that was gonna become my Dutch ex fiance.
Okay.
I can say his name. His name is Nick. So Nick, if you are listening to this, he knows that he's very important for me. Still, we are very good friends, really.
If you're listening to this.
Yeah.
If you're listening to this, find me.
Yeah. He will. If I tell him, he will listen to it. And now, but yeah, the thing is like, he lives very far. He lives very close to Hertogenbosch.
Them
So,
both, yeah.
So imagine, like, that's far. And then how many probabilities was that we can meet here in Amsterdam? So the thing is that he went to a party, and also because of his job, he was doing something close to Leidsplein.
Yeah.
And then as I told you, sometimes I am invited to be guest lecturer in the University of Applied Sciences in Amsterdam. So that's why that's also close to Leidsplein area.
Yeah.
And then that's how like the algorithm of Bumble match us. And then we match. And then I was still kind of recovering of another not successful Dutch dating experience with someone that also is my friend nowadays. I am good friend with all of my exes apparently, or even the not successful ones.
Yes, that's what we got out of this conversation.
Yeah, and then the thing is like, yeah, we match, and then eventually, because it was meant to be, also again perfect timing. Eventually, we started to date. We fall in love, and then after 3 months, 4 months, which was very quick, he told me, you can come to live with me instead of paying, I don't
In
know.
3 months.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, but it's very far. Like, he was living very far. So I was not that convinced because I love living in Amsterdam. But then I
Where was he
like-
living? Very far, you mean? Where was he living?
He was living in Hertogenbosch, like very
Them-
close.
Okay, that's still that guy. Okay, same guy. Yeah.
no, we're still in that one. Don't run. Like, come on. Like, people that is going to listen
No,
to
I
you.
thought you meant a new guy. That's what I understood.
Nay.
Okay.
No. Like,
Okay.
So let's
Same
skip
guy.
that part. So the scene is like, yeah, we got along with Nick, and then I started to live with him. It was very useful because I was already taking Dutch lessons. So living in that type of place where, I mean, in Amsterdam everyone speaks English, everyone. But yeah, in South Holland,
Not everyone.
not everyone.
Yeah.
If they can skip the English conversation, they will prefer to do that, and that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be very honest about.
No,
my
I got the
Dutch.
same experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So then eventually I decided to quit my job in Spain because I also found 2 jobs here. So I was, because you know that living here is very expensive. So
Yeah.
with one job, you can like, well, if you're working, of course, for a multinational, maybe you can do it. But in my case, I was not working for a multinational. I was working for a legal tech startup. So I thought to myself, well, it's kind of a 30-hour contract, 36-hour contract. So then I still have time, because we said that in Peru, we are like the Chinese from Latin America. We never burn out. So we can work and work and work and work and make money, and it doesn't matter. We just focus on the amount of money. It doesn't matter if it's like, we still work even if the labor regulation says that you have to work 40 hours, 48 hours. We work 72. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but we just focus on the money. So
Okay.
the thing is, like, I was thinking to myself, 36-hour contract. Come on, I can find something else to do, like a part time. So I was doing 12 hours as a bartender assistant on a hotel in Sandam.
Bartender assistant.
Yeah.
That-
Yeah, and still I don't know how to do the tap beers still. Like, no, I definitely that's not a skill that I should add on my LinkedIn resume. And then yeah, and then also I was working for this legal tech startup in Rotterdam. So imagine traveling from Hertogenbosch
To Rotterdam and
Rotterdam, and I was like, oh my god, I really hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to switch like two or three trains, so it was very difficult.
No, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. But then eventually, after 1 year and a half, my Dutch boyfriend, Nick told me, I want to go to Spain.
What?
Yeah, he told me, let's go to Spain. And I was like, but I was already there. Like,
Yeah.
let me leave my Dutch episode. And he said, no, let's go to Madrid. I'm serious. He said, I'm going to sell my house and we will go.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, because he always used to say, and after living here, I cannot understand that he
This
really,
place is too cold. Let's go to Spain, probably. Yeah. I mean, that's-
something like
imagine,
that,
yeah.
something like that. And then, so I thought to myself, okay, well, yeah, we already have a place there, so of course we can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time he went, he said, yeah, I want to live here forever. I'm never going to go back to the Netherlands for the food, for the girls, for everything. Let's say that I'm not jealous.
For the
okay?
girls, like, how is that
He also
possible?
told me, like, these girls are beautiful here. Like, come on, I never meet something like this. I
Yeah,
said,
but
of
he's
course.
with you. How could you say such a thing?
Nick is a special.
Okay.
Nick is a special.
Okay.
That's why I love him more, because he's honest, right? He's honest. So
Yeah.
he's not hypocrite. He never hides what he really feels and things.
Okay.
And then also, he also wanted to learn more Spanish and get more into the Latin culture and such.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, then, I mean, let's go. So yeah, we moved there. He eventually, I am good friend with my exes, but also I am good friend with my ex-bosses. So it applies for
For all exes, yeah.
all exes.
Yeah.
And that's good, because through one of my ex-bosses, I managed to found him a job where he can actually still speak Dutch. And
Oh.
they also help him with money for the relocation. So it was, voila, this is the perfect
Yeah.
dream job from someone that is looking forward to have the Spanish experience speaking Dutch in Madrid. So then that's what we did, and then he was working. I was also doing some consulting and such, because of course I had to quit my job here, and then I was looking for opportunities, and then I already have some entrepreneurship experience, so I decided to take it to the next level. That entrepreneurship is called Wow Legal Experience, like Wow Legal Experience, because we are really trying to provide the Wow Legal Experience to the legal industry.
Okay.
Through improving legal services, creating low-tech platforms, and a lot of stuff.
But somehow, sorry to interrupt you, but somehow you're mixing artificial intelligence with law, right? Application of law. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I'm really curious how you can apply such a complex thing on law. And like, where do you see the trend is gonna go? Because I'm also hearing that a lot. That's gonna cut a lot of lawyers' jobs, and you know, right. So you know better. So How do you see that, the application of AI in law?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to say that I am a lawyer. I have this legal background, but I cannot practice law properly in the European Union, right? Because I don't have a law degree from the Netherlands or from Spain. Not yet.
Okay.
Not sure if I will do that, as I mentioned before, because nowadays, with that legal background, I found out that I can still work on my true passion, which is technology. So what I do is I have three hats. So one hat is that I am the proud co-founder of a company that is Wow Legal Experience, where we provide assessment for legal teams about how to adopt technology. Technology meaning legal tech platforms to improve their services, or AI adoption, or maybe also to apply design to deliver better marketing, or to improve the way that they are working, or to come across with new services or use cases. That's it. And then we also provide some trainings on that. Then the other hat is for Saga. In Saga, AI for legal, what I do is I help the AI adoption team. So I am one of the AI adoption trainers. And also I do a lot of change management, not only for the Saga team, but especially for the legal teams that we provide the platform and the service that we have.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I'm also playing the role within that company to be the co-owner or co-designer of our prompts library for the legal sector. And I mean, just to say it in very plain language so everyone can understand,
Please,
a prompt.
plain language, yeah.
Yeah, a prompt is just the question or the solicitude that you type to the chat when you are using any AI platform, for instance, ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Gemini or whatever, Copilot. So then when you are typing that request, then that's a prompt. So that prompt, when you are paying, actually, this type of platforms represents tokens. So you are allowed to use, for instance, 40 tokens per hour, 50 tokens per hour. So the idea is to develop or create or design such a good prompt for the legal sector that they can kind of economize the tokens that they are using, but also came across with a good output.
Yeah.
So
you're simply, I'm sorry to interrupt again, but you're simply selling tokens to your customers, I guess.
No, I mean, we're selling the platform, but we also accompany the legal teams in order to adopt the technology, because first level is they have to know how AI works. So that means AI literacy. That's the first level. Then the second level is they have to come across with the use cases where they are going to apply our platform. And then also, for instance, we have to identify the main areas or law of practice where they are working on. Is very different from in-house legal departments of a bank than from in-house legal departments from a pharma company or from the government or from the Ministry of Justice, for the municipalities or for the law firms. It's very different because they are specialized in different tasks that belongs to different areas of law practice. So then, we help them to identify those use cases. Each use case can have each prompts as well. And then at the end, we create the prompts, the customized prompts. We can do it in two ways. Like, it's a co-creation process together with the legal team, or they can also tell us their wish list and we can work on the prompts for them. And of course, we have certain structure that we follow, that we are aligned, and then with our prompting engineers within our Saga Lab team, we work on those prompts, and then we upload it, and then of course the tech team deploy it and put it in the platform, right? So then that's how it works.
Okay, it's for my stupid brain, right? I'm really trying to understand.
You're not stupid.
Just for me to understand, right? Because it's a little bit complex. So let's say I'm a lawyer. I'm working in a firm. And so I need some clarification on some topic for a client or whatever. But instead of spending a lot of time to figure out how to do that, I'm using your AI solution and I'm typing my prompt there. And then this AI solution just looks at the resources that you already uploaded in that system, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And then just finds you the solution as quickly as possible instead of reading books and stuff. Like, do I understand you?
Yeah, I mean that's also another use case. But let me give you a proper example. Let's say
Yeah.
that you want to buy a house.
Okay.
So when you want to buy a house, you need to do a process that is called due diligence. You need to review
Yeah.
all the papers, that the papers are okay and such. And then, especially doing that in the Netherlands is very, it's very difficult. Everywhere is very difficult, but I think that here is
Especially difficult.
especially difficult.
Like 10 times more. Yeah.
Yeah, 10 times more. My friend, my roomie, actually bought a house today. So then I really know
How it works. Yeah.
how it works. So then the thing is like because of this volume of documents that you need to review, then you can actually create a prompt to do that due diligence for you. So you can upload, for instance, for that project, you can upload, let's say, up to 20 documents, and with the correct prompt structure, you can actually use that prompt, run it in the platform, and then we will create, for instance, like a tick box document. We will create a timeline. We will create maybe a dashboard, an Excel doc, whatever you want out of it in order to organize the information better.
Yeah.
And give
Some
you,
to-do list.
yeah. And also give you a better idea about if the documents are correct, what you are missing, what is still needed to do. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like you're converting a document into an actionable item list, and then you tick off whenever you finish something.
Yeah, but that's just one of the
Just one of
deliverables.
the, okay.
Yeah, I mean you can also have, for instance, you can also ask, okay, you said that I am missing these two documents. Can you tell me where can I find them, or can you help me to draft them, or who can help me to do this? Yeah. So then, yeah, then it works like a chatbot assistant, and then of course, yeah, it really provides the experience that you have an assistant there that
Yeah.
can do a lot of repetitive tasks for you, because in the legal sector, lawyers are mostly dealing and struggling with repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
So they cannot focus on the more analytical part,
Okay,
which
okay.
is the most interesting part, because they have been studying probably for 6 years or more, and then they really want to analyze more. But
Yeah.
if they are going to spend the time replying mails, sending invoices and such, half of the day, then there's not much time to do the analysis
Yeah,
part.
yeah. So how do you see the future of this, like, let's say, business then? Because this is a completely new business, right? It's just developed recently, not very long ago. Like how, so like it's quite new, right? It doesn't,
Well,
it's not even older 10 years it's not even 10 years, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Quite
like
new.
about AI, I mean, it's been there for a long time already, like since the 70s, if I'm not wrong, or late 60s even. But of course, at some point during the late 80s or 90s, has been like stuck. Then maybe all the technologies were like boiling, but then it really came back when OpenAI appeared.
Yeah.
And
But
of
I was
course,
referring real application of AI of like real jobs,
yeah.
right? So it wasn't that long as far as I remember.
Yeah, I mean, like the biggest boom was just two years ago when this company really nailed it and they show up. But the thing is, like, I really don't think that AI will replace our jobs, our especially if you learn how to use it for your own job. Because if you really are eager and able to identify the use cases and you understand the logic behind this technology, then you are gonna be you're not gonna become obsolete, and you're gonna be able to manage and try to think, okay, maybe I can oriented my career path from this way and such. And of course, for the ones that are not eager to learn how to use this technology and they just want to see then what happens, then we're gonna become obsolete very soon.
Yeah, I read a research paper today that Microsoft released recently, I think, and what they found is that like AI is going to be some sort of like assistant to a lot of people,
Yeah.
and in the long run, let's say you're head of something, right? Instead of like hiring people, you're gonna have a team of AI assistants, and they're gonna helping you to do your job. That's what I observed from the research, And I
Yeah.
think if Microsoft is, providing such a research, like that means like that could be applicable to a lot of other area.
Jobs.
Yeah. I think this is how it's gonna look like. So you're gonna still be running the show, whatever you do. But then you know what? Like this is a really long time job, and I don't have time for it. I don't, I want to make it shorter and more efficient. And you're gonna have some sort of like,
But you also have to think about that when we talk about artificial intelligence, we are talking about a technology that is trying to imitate, to replicate how the human
yeah,
intelligence works, right?
yeah,
Especially in the most basic processes. And of course, once it gets sophisticated, then can even learn by themselves.
yeah,
But the thing is, like, you don't have just one artificial intelligence, and depending on the sector, and I'm sure that the legal sector is going to be tough on the battle on this, especially for the ethical topics
yeah,
and the ethical matters. Then they will try to keep it on control,
uh-huh,
meaning that there are things that really have to remain human,
yeah,
really have to remain human, and then yeah, that's why I believe that definitely those AI assistants have to be have to receive the legal input, the legal knowledge from humans.
yeah,
So still there will be place for us to give the input to these
yeah.
legal AI assistants. That's same as we are doing in our platform, for instance. Yeah.
And Carol, like finally, we're about to close the show today. I'm also a little bit curious about your experiences, a little like some sort of comparison of three cities, right? Because like I'm really in love with New York. I'm from Istanbul, as you know, and I've seen New York, as you said, it's super super fast. But Amsterdam is like more chill. I never been to Madrid, so I don't know. So like, how would you compare that your like living your experiences in those three different cities? Like let's say someone wants to move to Amsterdam from Madrid or New York. Like what would you say?
First of all, you have to be a person that speaks English and good level of English, like
Yeah.
seriously. And that's always something that I try to push with, especially with my students, because of this job that I do, I usually also share with my students in university. So they ask me, hey, how can I become like you? How can I? Yeah. So then first you have to study English, then maybe even also other languages like can be German, Portuguese, Italian, French, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Then also, yeah, living in New York, Madrid, and Amsterdam is completely different,
Yeah.
especially from if you are coming from Latin America. The first thing that you can notice is the freedom, because
Yeah.
the cities are still dangerous, but not as dangerous as Lima,
Yeah.
as where I used to live before. Then also the type of people is also very different. For instance, in Lima, in Peru, everyone is very friendly. In New York, it's also very friendly, but still you need time to develop like real friendship. Also, as I told you in Madrid, yeah, people is open, but one team is being friendship, and the other thing is that they will invite you to their houses and to do plans together and such. Everyone is busy. In Amsterdam, especially, it's very difficult to find a time slot.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go out with your friends, and then also, especially if you are alone, you really need to start
Your
this
friends group.
yeah,
Yeah.
friends group, dating apps, meetups, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, at some point, also the dating experience is very different from from city to city, I must say. But yeah, I mean, we are just always
Which city did you like the most for dating?
for dating. I think that my favorite city for dating so far is Amsterdam, and that's probably one of the reasons because I prefer being around here, but
Yeah.
also because, as I told you, I'm also
And
learning.
why is that?
Well, let's say that you know why is that. Okay, no, I mean like, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I mean I have good friends here. I actually apparently I have like a type that is or Dutch tall Pole guys or Dutch
Turkish guys.
tech Turkish guys apparently.
Turkish guys, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Apparently
apparently,
that's,
yeah.
that's my type.
Yeah.
And then I think that I really like the dating experience in Amsterdam more because there are people from different nationalities, similar as New York, but it's less chaotic.
Mm.
Yeah, because in Madrid, what happens is that I think the men are becoming a little bit like princes. So they are really, they don't propose. They are waiting you to propose. For me as a girl, especially with this Latin American mindset, I mean,
That's your experience in Madrid.
yeah,
And
they are.
here, here, guys are like more direct, or
The problem here is the tiki. I mean, like, if you tell me I will send you a tiki on the first day, it's like, I mean, I can do it, dude, but it's the first date.
oh my god.
And I'm a Latin girl. You don't do that. You read the manual before dating a Latin girl. You don't do that. I've been living in New York, in Madrid, here, in Lima, in wherever, and I have the money to pay. But
Yeah.
don't tell me the tiki.
No, that's really
That's
amazing.
a definitely red flag after dating. Wherever you are. Yeah.
Carol, thank you so much coming to the show. I really enjoyed today.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you so
too.
much, and we'll see each other later on.
Yeah.